Seriously, that shit ain't Shakespeare. If you're going into the movie theater and expecting Transformers to be this genre-transcending epic story that's going to be, recorded in history as one of the best films ever made, no. It's not going to happen. Not Citizen Kane. It's not Godfather 2. It's just Transformers. Seriously. It's a movie based on toys. What do you expect? Basically, any scene involving the military, very cool. Any scene involving giant robots fighting, very cool. Any scene with hot women, very cool. There is probably about 45 minutes of useless comic relief. Right? I think what Bay was trying to go with was trying to balance action with comic relief in the same way that the original Star Wars trilogy did. Notice I didn't mention Jar Jar. Jar Jar's a failed attempt. But let's talk about the original Star Wars trilogy balanced some of its heavier action moments with, scenes of C-3PO and R2-D2 bumbling after the heroes, maybe making some, smart-ass quips. Of course, you only hear one side of the conversation. That's an example of that type of pace breaking or tone alteration that actually works. Even in if you're going for that, if as a director and a writer you're actually going for that type of feel, then fine, that works. I think a movie can be just entirely intense action, and I still like it. But if you're, the kind of director or writer that feels like you want to chop up some of the action sequences with something to rein in the audience a little bit, maybe make them chuckle and then, blow their mind with some special effects, then fine. If that's what you want to do, fine. So I think in that's exactly what Bay was trying to do, and which he actually did better in the original Transformers, but I think a lot of the comic relief stuff revolved around the human characters, especially Sam. Shia LaBeouf's got that very distinct, kind of rushed and spastic performance, right? That I think a lot of people find funny. I like his style. Fine. I think that was done so much better than in the second movie. And like I said, a lot of like when movies come out on DVDs and they come up with like director's cuts and stuff, and they add 15 or 20 minutes of scenes that were removed for the theatrical release that the director wants to put in. I think it's going to be in fairly short order that some fan is going to edit out some of the ill-placed comic relief stuff in Transformers 2, shortening the movie by a good maybe half hour, 45 minutes, and then releasing that. And it'll be non-stop action and robots fighting and explosions and really cool stuff. And it'll be a fundamentally better movie than what was released in the theaters. But, that being said, we're still talking about a 3.5 to 4 Aaron rating out of, a total of 5 for Transformers. I really enjoyed it. I wasn't expecting it to be Othello, It's not Hamlet. It is giant robots fighting. It's supposed to be special effects and explosions and hot women. And if you're trying to turn it into something else or try to expect it to be some novel-worthy piece of fantasy science fiction, you're going to be sadly disappointed, and I think a lot of the critics were. That being said, it could have been better. There was a couple of scenes, just some of the way that the scenes that were cut were kind of clumsy, but not nearly as disappointing and awkward as Wolverine was. So I have no idea why people are so upset about Transformers. Like, seriously, what are you expecting? Oh, the racial stereotype thing. There are two robots in particular, Skids and Mudflap. We'll see if I can find photos of them. That are under the concepts are being under attack as they are racial stereotypes of poor, urban slang speaking black people. That this isn't what the director was going at all. Not only are they not humans, right? They're robots. So any behavior that they're exuding that can be pulled from a specific culture of humans is enacted behavior on their part. They are not really, urban blacks speaking slang that they grew up with. They are robots that learn their language by perusing the internet. So they're posers, fundamentally. Even some of the slang things that some of the other robots say, clearly pulled from pop culture sources, and they're just using them as a way of maybe fitting in, and sometimes it's because they're outsiders, they use them clumsily. These two robots in the movie, they weren't called out. By called out, I mean it's not made aware to the audience that the other characters in the movie are aware of how ridiculous these two are, right? They did something similar to this in Tropic Thunder, where Robert Downey Jr., who is a white American actor playing a white Australian actor playing a black American. He's called out by an actual black American in the movie. As a nod to the audience, like, we realize what we're doing here. That's part of the fun of the movie. So these two characters in the movie needed to be called out, brought attention to, like, why are you speaking like that? Slap some sense into you. But that event never happened. If it did happen, I think all of this hullabaloo wouldn't have happened. Anyway, to get my point across, the black robots aren't black robots. They are these guys. This point I don't think is made that clear, but I understand what they were trying to go with. Not only are they, these guys, but I think one of the robots in particular was designed after this face. So seriously, lighten up. It's freaking Transformers. It's toys that fold up into cars. I mean, come on. How seriously are you supposed to take it?